Good morning, Prop Nation. It is another Tabak and Tech Tip Sunday, powered by Monster Energy Rehab. And yes, we still are in the Drew Estate Experience Acid Studios. I just got the backdrop up right behind me. I had to shoot another video, and I needed a cooler backdrop. All right, earlier this week, my good buddy Phil, the bearded cigarist on TikTok and Instagram, and we had him on our the I Tap That Cigar show not too long ago. He had to put a battery in his truck this week, and complaining about the price of batteries, and complaining about how hard that job was. It's really not that hard of a job. Listen, like I said, as a technician, I don't get paid for batteries. I really don't get paid to install batteries. We've figured it out, Phil. Like that battery in your Silverado, I can have in and out in about 6 minutes. I have figured out how to be fast because I don't make any money on them. So yeah, it wasn't that hard. You're just overthinking it. Plus, you haven't done 150 of them like I have. Batteries, probably one of the things on cars that have increased dramatically in price, more than anything else. Tires are going up, everything else going up. Supply chain issues, raw materials, better materials. Batteries, though, absolutely skyrocketing over the years. I remember being able to go down to my local Walmart or Advance Auto Parts, Discount Auto Parts at the time, and pick up a battery for like $50 back in the day. And that with inflation is probably, $80, $90 now. But batteries now, Phil, on his truck, he a couple $100. It is nothing. It is nothing to spend $300 on a battery now, on a big battery for just your typical Silverado. It's just there's so much you've got to think about when it's time to replace the battery in your car. Is it just if you have anything within the last 5 years, you don't have a probably don't have a lead acid battery anymore. You probably have an AGM, an absorbed glass mat. You may have an EFP, an SLI, VRLA, so many different types of batteries. And we're just going to stick with American. If you've got a Mercedes, BMW, Audi, you've got bigger batteries. I need to replace the battery, and then I need to plug in my scanner for like a half an hour and tell your vehicle that I replaced your battery, or it freaks out. That's a whole nother thing. But batteries, people will come into to the shop, Tires Plus, and we'll let them know, it's time, every single service, every time you pull your car in, we're checking the battery. The battery is so important to everything on cars. Brakes not stopping that properly, check your battery on a newer F-150. It's the weird thing. So so we check it every time. We got really high fancy testers, get a little print receipt like, hey, your battery's getting a little weak. You may want to think about it. It's going to happen, and then sometimes some customers will come in a couple of times, I'm like, hey, we keep telling you that battery, it's still testing weak. You told me it was testing weak last time. It's still doing good. And then it fails. And then they got to have it towed in. And then if certain cars, Toyota Camry, for some reason, battery went completely dead, now I've got to reprogram the PCM, not really program the PCM, but like reboot it. And batteries are just such the lifeblood of engines nowadays. So if someone tells you, hey, your battery's getting weak, think about it. If they've told you, you're in your oil change 2-3 times, hey, it's still showing, low. If it's been more than 4 years, get that battery replaced. If your battery's already dead and you come into us, I'm like, hey, on that Silverado, hey, it's like $300 to replace your battery. And I'm only charging you like $25 to put it in. Like, I don't make any money on batteries. It's almost one of those courtesy jobs. And I'll get it cheaper elsewhere, and then we'll see that same battery come in, and it's like you put a lead acid battery in there. It has an AGM battery. You're supposed to have an AGM battery. Customer, yeah, I got it. It was like $100 cheaper. I'm sure it was cheaper. And then we'll have people come in with a diagnostic issue, running rough, or things glitching or whatever, and we check the battery, and we don't just check the state of the battery, we check the battery to make sure the proper one is in there. I don't know how many times we've had to tell a customer, hey, we can't proceed further with the diagnostic. You don't have the right battery in there. You know, no, that battery's brand new. It's only like 2 months old. It's the wrong battery. Like, we cannot proceed further. You're going to have to replace this. You can either, you know, take it back. Maybe they'll swap it out, give you some kind of warranty, and then bring it back, and we can fix it. Or there are times, I don't have a receipt, or I bought it from wherever, and then we have to sell them a brand new battery. And it's not often, but it has happened where that fixes the problem. Just putting a battery in, the right one, you know, fixes the issue. So it's one of those things, you can't cheap out on a battery. You got to look up in your owner's manual, find out what the cold cranking amps is, find out everything is. And then when you go, if you're doing it yourself, because batteries are things you can do yourself, you really should have a memory saver, something that plugs into the OBD2 port, or, you know, what we would call a cigarette lighter adapter, but a 12-volt adapter, to keep power alive to the memory of the car while you're replacing that battery. Because a lot of bad things happen when you just, even if battery's dead, it has some charge. Not enough to start the car, but enough to keep things alive. And when you take those terminals off, and especially if it's a do-it-yourselfer, you know, it's not going to be a quick in and out. You know, it's maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes past, all the capacitors have bled of all their reserve power, and then now it just cranks and cranks and cranks. Or it cranks and it runs rough, and then you don't know what the issue is. Or the battery needs, or the clock needs to be reset. GPS needs to be reset. So many systems on a car need to be reset. So just keep that in mind if you're replacing your battery yourself, and you're working on a vehicle. I'm going to say 2015. Probably, you know, you could be safe 2015 and newer. You need to have a reserve power supply hooked up, you know, ready to, you know, before you disconnect those cables. Bad things can happen. It's not always going to happen, but it can happen. So you're going to go into your Advanced Auto Parts, your AutoZone, your Walmart, whatever, and you're going to have your different batteries there. Good, better, best. What's the difference between all those batteries? Some are, you know, it really is a difference between lead acid and absorbed glass mat, AGM batteries. What's the warranty going to be? 12-month free replacement, 36, 48, whatever it is, the reserve capacity. So find out, make sure you're knowing what the difference is between those good, better, and best batteries. If there's a stack of batteries, look on the side. Usually a little sticker tells you the date code, like, you know, A3, you know, January of 2030. Well, you know, whatever. It wouldn't be 2013, but if you're not sure of the date code, ask them behind the counter, hey, which of these batteries is the freshest? I want the newest date code. And then hang on to that receipt. Because if something, because they're like, oh, you don't need your receipt. We got a sticker with a date code on there that'll tell us when this battery was made. And a lot of times it's also burned in the battery. Well, when you lose that receipt and you got to go somewhere like, oh, we got the date code on the side. What if that date code was, you know, it's not a big deal if it's 6 months old. It's a big deal 6 months old. If you're trying to get it under warranty and you're like, no, I bought it here. Well, you don't have your receipt. There's the date code. So try and pick out the freshest date code, and then make sure you hang on to that receipt so you can get that battery warrantied out. And then make sure you're getting a battery from a place that you can get any battery replaced. You know, like an Advanced Auto Parts. I mean, Tires Plus. We have like in Firestone Complete Auto Care, Wheelworks. We have like 2,800 locations throughout the country. You buy a battery from us, you're going to get that replaced anywhere in the country. Swap it out. If it's under warranty, free, you're on your way. If it's a mom and pop shop, no name battery, and it goes bad, and you're in another state visiting, who's warranting out that battery? Nobody. You're going to buy another one, and you didn't save any money at that point. So I don't know. If you have any questions, batteries, leave them in the comments down below. I know we're running short of time here. At Tires Plus, Firestone Complete Auto Care, we do free battery testing. Come see us if you have any battery questions. And this was a lot. See you next week.